Okay, the map is jumping all over the place, and I'm not sure if this inspires a lot of confidence in me.
Almost all smart glasses advertise navigation as a core feature. I was shocked at how few could actually do it well. So instead of just telling you what happened in my tests, I'm going to show you. I tested 7 smart glasses with one simple question. Can any of these actually replace Google Maps in real-world situations? Let me show you how it went. The test was simple. I verbally asked each pair of glasses to navigate me to a destination. The first question was, can it launch from a voice command? I tested in Europe and in the US, and sometimes something that failed in Europe worked better in the US or vice versa. But my bar here is pretty high. Google Maps works in most places, so if smart glasses only work properly in certain cities or certain regions, that is not a full pass. That is a partial pass. Let's dive in. The Even Realities G2 surprised me more than any other glasses in this test. And I do not say that lightly because I have been critical of its navigation in the past. I tested navigation first in Europe and then a few days later in the US, and I was pretty surprised. Here's how it went.
Hey, Even, navigate to Zurich HB train station. Okay, it says starting navigate, and actually the map has popped up. The large map is not loading up completely. I just see the path, so that's not very confidence inspiring. So the distance is still updating. It tells me when I need to turn, but the map is not really visible. Okay, at this point, it says I need to turn right in 279 feet. My arrow is pointing that way, and the rest of the path is pointing that way. So, not entirely sure what it wants me to do. I'm going to pull out the app and see if that helps. Okay, so here's a new thing. When I have the map open on my app, and then I click on the larger image of the heads-up display map, it does show up now as long as this is active, which again is not ideal because I would like to just put the phone in my pocket. Okay, so I do actually see the Zurich train station in front of me. So it has gotten me there technically. Navigate to the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. I am going to make a right turn here and see if it updates. The app is closed and the phone is in my pocket. That's where Ewan has struggled in the past. So the arrow is showing that I've made a right, but the path is still behind me. It is not updating. The directions are also not updating. Oh, it actually did just jump. It just updated. It's pointing the right way, and it's adjusted where I need to go. That is new behavior that I've never seen before. Let's try it again. I'm gonna turn left here onto Toledo and see what happens. It is tracking my location. The arrow is pointing in the direction that I'm traveling, but the route is behind me. Oh, and it just updated. This is pretty impressive. This is the first time Ewan has done this.
The test speaks for itself, and my surprise is pretty evident. In Europe, it technically got me there, but I still needed the phone and navigation app active to feel oriented. In the US, just a few days later, it worked better than it has ever worked for me before. I am not saying navigation is fixed, but this was a real improvement. Next up is the Meta Ray-Ban display. This is the one I expected the most from going in, and the result here is complicated.
Navigate to the Mandarin Oriental Savoy Hotel. Map has disappeared from my HUD, but if I click, it shows up again, and it's right in front of me. Now, if I scroll to the walking directions, it gives me an error saying they're not available over here, but I can still use the map, which shows my current location and the entire city and the path, and basically follow along with that. Okay, so while walking, I am also able to zoom in and scroll around on the map to see exactly where the arrow is. I missed my turn. I'm waiting to see if it actually updates. So it hasn't updated my directions yet. I can still see the arrow and the line and the navigation path, so I can just course correct myself. But the glasses are not making a new route for me. So I can see that if I turn left over here, I will get back on track. But the glasses have not course corrected as they would on Google Maps or something. Okay, so I have in fact reached my destination. Navigate to the Palace of Fine Arts. Okay, so it's shown up on my map. Okay, I'm basically supposed to go straight here. I can see the heads-up display in front of me. I'm going to turn right to see if it corrects the directions. Okay, so it's still showing me the previous path. Oh, okay. And it has updated it now, and the navigation has updated and changed, and it's showing me the right way. So this actually seems to be working pretty well.
So as you saw from Meta, if turn-by-turn navigation has not been rolled out, and this is true for any place outside the US and several cities even within the US, you can still see the map in color along with your exact location, the destination, and the route connecting the two. And you can use that to get where you are going. But you are basically looking at a static route, and it is on you to figure out how to get back on track. That is useful, but it is not the true Google Maps experience. In a US city where turn-by-turn is live, the experience is much closer to what I want and actually quite smooth. Given it works pretty well in some cities, but not in the vast majority of cities around the world, the best Meta can get at the moment is a partial pass. The INMO Air 3 was the one I expected to be almost boring to review for navigation. It basically runs Google Maps natively. So my first thought was, what could go wrong?
Navigate to Basel Marriott Hotel. Okay, it's pulled it up. It's a two-dimensional map as you would see on your computer. I hear the instructions in my ear and we're off. There's definitely a bit of a delay. It does not update in real time. It's showing me at a location that I've walked past a while ago. I'm actually going to go the wrong way to see if it recalibrates and tells me to change directions or not. Okay, at this point, I've given it plenty of time. I am way off the original path, and it is not resetting to where I am. It just keeps bouncing back and forth between my current location and where the original path was. So the arrow literally just keeps jumping back and forth between those two.
INMO clearly failed. I didn't retest the Air 3 in the US. The failure wasn't a regional issue. It was the glasses not being able to hold my location accurately while moving. A different city doesn't fix that. It is also worth noting that this is different from the Meta display. Even in unsupported cities, Meta still shows your current location and the map accurately. The INMO Air 3 does not. So I have to give it a fail. RayNeo was quite frustrating, as you will see right here.
Navigate to Zurich train station. Okay, so it keeps giving me directions on how to get there using tram or bus, but it is not actually launching the navigation tool. Okay, I'm going to launch the navigation tool from my phone. If I turn around, the red stuff disappears and it becomes green. Okay, so it actually wants me to go that way despite saying I should turn right. This is extremely confusing and not intuitive at all. Okay, it says search for destination. Take me to the Palace of Fine Arts. It still keeps saying turn left. There is no left turn over here. The green dot is facing that way. So that's its way to tell me which way to go, I guess. I think I'll finally get there. but it's not the most intuitive.
So in short, RayNeo completely failed me in Europe for navigation, but in the US, if I am being charitable, I would say I could get by using it. I'll have to give RayNeo a partial pass, though this is not the most convincing partial pass on this list. Let's get this one out of the way quickly. The Ray-Ban Meta Gen 2. I included the Ray-Ban Gen 2 in this test because their direct rival, the Rokid Style, actually claims to be able to do voice navigation.
Hey, Meta, navigate to Basel Marriott Hotel. Okay, that is a definite fail since it just keeps sending directions to my phone and not trying to help me at all.
Rokid Style claims you can navigate using these glasses. They do not have a display, so not ideal in my mind, but I wanted to give it a shot.
Navigate to the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. Okay, we're off. It says I should head towards Divisadero Street. Okay, it says in 1,000 feet, I need to turn right onto Baker Street. Okay, there's some construction up ahead. The road is blocked. I'm gonna turn right and see if it corrects directions after that. Okay, just set at the stop sign, turn left to Bay Street. Okay, so it actually is navigating.
The Rokid Style did technically work in both the US and Europe. I will say, however, that I did not feel super confident using it without a map to look at because there always seemed to be a delay. So technically, Rokid Style gets a pass, but for me, it is a pass with a confidence caveat. Last up is Rokid Glasses, the display version. I had high hopes for these. Rokid has done really well in my translation tests and AI tests, so I assumed navigation would also be a strength.
Navigate to Basel Marriott Hotel. It's popped up on my screen. It's telling me where to go. I can see the directions. Let's see if it actually works. There is a turn coming up, and I need to go left. I'm gonna see if it actually... Okay, the map is jumping all over the place, and I'm not sure if this inspires a lot of confidence in me. Okay, it seems to have stabilized, and it's taking in the right direction now without jumping around. And despite a lot of bouncing around and a lot of friction, it has ultimately stabilized and it is taking in the right direction. So I guess I will have to give it some partial credit. It is not something that I would trust in a pinch in a strange city, but technically it is working despite the flaws.
My experience was pretty similar in the US. Some friction, some bouncing around, but ultimately it did get me to my destination after a while. In both instances, the voice launch gave me an error a few times. So overall, I would give Rokid Glasses a partial pass. So here's the bottom line. If the results I saw for even in the US are actually repeatable and consistent, those would be my top choice. But I need to see that hold up before I'm ready to say navigation is fixed on the G2. Apart from that, the glass that came closest was Meta, but only in cities where turn-by-turn is actually live. The moment Meta expands that coverage, this test looks very different. That is the one I'm watching. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.